Learn how to create, sustain, and scale up your print-on-demand business with the latest tips, guides, and strategies to help you start selling and making money today. Welcome to the Sales on Demand Show. And here's your host, Adam Schneider.
Hi everybody, welcome back. This is the Sales on Demand Show. Hopefully you didn't think you were listening to Joe Rogan or something like that, because I'm better than Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan doesn't know anything about print on demand, but he is interesting. Anyway, this is episode 63, and today I'm going to be talking about newbie stuff. And I'm going to be reviewing someone's Gear Bubble store. And I'm going to be giving you just some thoughts about what comes after Father's Day and the pandemic. And, you know, what's next down the line for summer and this year. What should you be thinking about? But just generally. So, first of all, I mean, sales are not letting up. I just spent the last 45 minutes entering in new sales. It has not slowed down significantly at all. I'm doing between 5 and 9 sales a day. It never seems to get past 9 on Etsy, but Amazon's is consistently, in the high, between 15 and 20-ish sales, and that has not let up for a long time, which is great. I am now 53% better than last year and 300% better on Etsy, which is crazy. This is literally like Christmas. So, man, I mean, I was just chatting with somebody online today, and they were telling me that they really need to get back into selling online. They had quit for a little bit or something, maybe. They were doing something else, and that fell through. I got to tell you guys, I have not quit doing this in 3 years, and every single year I've done better than the last year. This is a consistent system that works, and I don't see any reason that this is not going to work in 5 years and 10 years. People are still buying gifts. They're going to continue buying gifts. I mean, unless we all become just brains in a jar and, we're living in the Matrix, people are still going to want to buy print-on-demand items. The marketplaces might change. Maybe there will be a new marketplace, but this is a business model that is going to continue, and I will be here telling you how to make it work. So, funny story, I thought Father's Day was the 11th of June because that's when Mother's Day was, and I was like, well, we have about a month to go before Father's Day, but it turns out that Father's Day is like the 20th, which is basically the end of June, and we still have another month till Father's Day. So there's a couple of things that I thought I was going to run out of time to do. That is sending more FBA stock to Amazon, which I think I will have enough time to actually do. So that is kind of cool. I'm happy about that. For me, I've been busy outside. I've been doing bike rides, workouts, yard work, and it's raining, which is always nice. My grass is so green. It's not going to last, though. This is Alberta. We're not living in, Washington or something like that, where it's rainy and, moisture. We get very little moisture here. We get it all in like 1 or 2 months, and then it just leaves for the rest of the summer. And that grass will probably be as brown as, dirt by the end of August. Oh well. So I also took one single vacation day today to try to get some stuff done. I did get some stuff done, but nowhere near what I had hoped to do. Oh well. I have a bunch more vacation days and literally nothing else planned for the entire summer. So I'm kind of wide open, which sucks. I really wanted to do stuff this summer, but it's not happening. Did go shopping today. And I am continuously just very irritated with all of the theater that's going on around this pandemic. I mean, some of these things are just so over the top. I went to get a new seat for my bicycle, and I took it up to the cash register at Sport Check. And they have the plexiglass up and stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, the plexiglass, is a barrier between you and, the cashier. But no, you put the thing on the cash register, and she's like, okay, well, step back to that green circle, which was like, 13 feet behind me. So I had to step way back, and then she came forward, grabbed the bike seat, and then scanned it, and then every time I stepped forward, she'd step back. And I'm like, this seems excessive. Like, this whole thing is just a song and dance, in my opinion. I'm not saying that the coronavirus wasn't real, but when I find out that 80% of the deaths are people in elder care homes, I gotta ask a question. Why are the rest of us pretending that, we're trying to avoid getting this? Like, I don't know. I'm not an epidemiologist or whatever they call them. I'm just a stupid entrepreneur trying to sell stuff online, man. But I gotta tell you, when something looks stupid, I call it stupid. So I call some of this stuff stupid. I mean, in the beginning, everybody was like, we don't know how this works. Maybe people can die. What's the death rate? It could be 3%. It could be 10%. Oh my gosh. So now that we have all of the information that we're probably going to get, we know that the death rate is way, 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 way lower, especially for people under 40. I mean, can we just stop pretending? Anyway, I'm done complaining for now. Maybe I'll complain again on the next episode. We'll see. So let's say, what's selling right now? You probably want to know. Well, I mean, Father's Day is a month away, and you have, on Etsy, generally speaking, you're going to get heavy sales up until about a week and a half before the holiday, just like with Mother's Day. Father's Day, I don't know if it's going to be as crazy as Mother's Day, and as the weather gets nicer, you're going to notice that, your sales become more and more sporadic, but people are still shopping, and my sales today were fantastic. I am not complaining in the least. Mother's Day items are still selling, which is surprising to me. Everything always surprises me sometimes. Customized items are still going on Amazon. I have one customized item for moms, and it's still selling like 1 or 2 a day. And I did add that listing for dads, and it's not selling. But I already knew that was probably going to be the case. This particular item is something that is really unique to moms. So, well, I might add a few more customized items. I have been launching new listings, but it is challenging with the amount of time that I've got. So, of course, Amazon has been smashing my mugs again, which they do this all the time. It is just a feature. It's not even a bug, really. It's just what Amazon does. So they have closed a few of my listings, and they did it because customers are getting smashed mugs. And I'm like, come on, like, at least put the box in a protective, like, put it in another box. Like, they ship you the dumbest things in a huge box, like just a piece of metal. They'll ship that in a giant box with a whole bunch of foam wrapping. But a coffee mug, they'll just put it in the mail with nothing protecting it. So, I mean, who knows? Anyway, when you get an FBA item that Amazon closes because of damage, there is only one way to fix that, and that is to relist the item and just carry on. I have tried contacting Amazon and being like, please, I am begging you to package this better, but they will not do it, so I just simply have stopped begging them to do it, and I just relist the item and move on. And you know what? It's fine. So I lose a little bit of money because one of the items got smashed and they just throw it away, so they send a replacement. Oh well. It's not a huge number of items, and, I get them for fairly cheap, so it's not like I'm losing $10 on a smashed item. I'm losing about maybe $5 if an item gets smashed. And I still made the money on the sale, so you take the good with the bad. So today, I thought I would do something that I haven't done for a long time, and that is I am going to review somebody's store. So somebody whose initials are K, just 2 Ks, not 3. Okay, this person is a good person, but they sent me a link to their store, and they said, what do you think? And I appreciate that you trust me enough that you want my opinion. And I think I'm going to give you some good advice here. So this person also revealed that they're not selling on Etsy, and I wonder why not. I mean, you've got some items here that I think would probably get some interest on Etsy. My first note here is that they're very artsy, and I think this person is selling some of their own artwork, and that is kind of neat, and I think you should continue doing that. Personal artwork, whether it's digital or whether you're drawing on a paper and then transferring it to a digital format, I think that is a good idea, and continue doing it. So one thing that I see about your titles is that your titles need a little bit of work. So when you're titling a mug, you need to, the first 5 words need to be, who are you giving this to? So you don't want to put the word funny in there because funny is not a target, right? And you don't want to put the theme of the mug. You want to put who it's to, right? So if it's an artist, you put artist mug. I mean, you can put funny, but I would leave funny after. So husband, wife, mom, dad, nurse mom, police dad, whatever your title is, or if it's just sort of a generic thing like unicorn or something like that. People do buy a lot of unicorn-themed items. I don't really sell any, but I know for a fact that they are selling. That needs to be in the first 5 words of your title because that's where it has the most impact. Also, when you design something, if you don't know who would buy it, the don't know that either, right? You need to if you're coming up with a special design and you're not just throwing an idea at the wall, which is fine too. If you throw an idea at the wall and it sells, and you're like, I have no idea who's buying this, hey, you know what? You struck gold, man. It's good. You should take advantage of every idea that you've got. But if you are designing something and you don't know who's going to buy it, chances are nobody's going to buy it. Because usually people will buy something that is a gift. Or sometimes they'll buy it for themselves. And one thing that people frequently do, and I just had one of these today, is they will buy gifts for their employees. So this is something that I always suggest that new sellers do. Start creating designs for professions, like office professions, like, you know, the big ones like accountant and police officer. Those are good places to start. Retirement, new hires, new bosses. Cross those over with accountant or whatever your profession is, and you've got a great target that is easy to design for because there's tons of information out there, or, you know, memes and phrases that these people will relate to. So let's say that you've got someone who just graduated from accountant school. Well, that's, you know, just type in, do a Google search for accountant graduation funny meme, and you'll probably come up with 2 or 3 clever memes. You take the phrase, you do your own design, boom, throw it up there, probably make a couple sales from that. I literally did that with one profession, accountant, and I never did it again, and it keeps selling over and over again. Not a ton of sales, but for the amount of work that I put into it, which was like 5 minutes, if you keep making $10 over and over again, I mean, you're getting paid for your time. Huge. So that is what I would do. So moving on, and I don't mean this as an insulting, but some of the items in this store are just too generic. They really are too generic. There's one here that is like, it's a sun and it just says dad underneath it. Now it's nice looking, but that probably will not sell. If you post that on Etsy, I don't see it selling because there's no message there. It's just a sun and it says dad. Now you could put something underneath like "Dad, you are my sunshine," or some kind of message like that. Dad, oh, it does say on the back, "Dad, your place in my heart is forever sunshine." I mean, I don't know. That's a pretty generic phrase. I don't see it grabbing anybody. So you might make, a sale off of something like that. But if you want to find items that are going to make sales over and over and over again, you've got to create a design, use an idea that people look at it and they say, I need that. My dad would laugh his ass off if he saw that. Or my mom would love that because she loves X, Y, Z, whatever it is. It has to grab somebody. They have to be so convinced that this is the item that their mom's going to love or their dad's going to love that they'll pay $20 and wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get this item. And if they don't get it, they're going to throw themselves off of the nearest short bridge, right? People take their family very seriously, and they want to get them the best items. So you'll find that people are shopping on Etsy, and they'll favorite what they like. So if you find that one item is getting a lot of favorites but never sells, it's probably because they kind of like it, but not enough to buy it, right? They're like, oh, that's cute, but I'll go with this one instead. It just means that your competition is doing better than you. It doesn't mean that your design sucks. It just means that someone else has something better and they picked that instead. So this is why you need to be constantly adding new ideas. And don't retread the same territory over and over again. This is something that I do see. I don't see that in this store that I'm looking at now. Every one of these designs is very unique. They're all really, well, there's a few repeats, but, that's okay. If you're going to use the same design on different items, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I would recommend doing that. You spent the time to make the design, put it on a t-shirt, put it on a coffee mug, put it on a travel mug, and put it on a two-tone coffee mug. I mean, those are the 4 items that I would put any design on and make a black and a white version. But what I'm talking about is, and this is something that I did when I first started selling, is that I made designs, I made a template, and I'll just tell you what it said. It said, world's greatest blank, and the blank would be mom, dad, brother, sister, babysitter, whatever. And I put a little image of a globe behind that. And I probably made like 100 of these designs, and I paid someone to upload them. And I think I might have made 1 sale from that template total out of 100 designs. So don't think that just because you've got 100 listings of the same design or the same idea that that's going to get you a bunch of sales, because it's not. You've got to go wide, not deep. So if you want to get, and you're a new person, or you're an old bee, a newbie and an old bee, get it? All right. Just know that your first 100 ideas will probably be a mix of good, bad, and ugly. Once you get to 3 years in, like I am, you're going to look at an idea and be like, yeah, probably not going to sell. Although sometimes I think an idea is good and it doesn't sell. Or it gets, a few sales here and there, and then it just wasn't worth it. For me, an idea that really sells, that's really worth doing, gets like 5 sales. If I can get 5 sales out of an idea, it was worth doing it. Even 3 sales is probably pretty good. If I only get 1 sale from something, then I'm like, meh, probably wasn't a great idea. I mean, you might find people will buy the dumbest things, but if you really want to make a lot of sales, then you got to have some things that are really good. So, some people get this right away. I don't know. Some people just seem to have a knack for this. I don't consider that I really had a knack for this. I had a good eye for researching, and I was motivated to take action. But I didn't really know what the market wanted, and I didn't know some of these niches that I found out later. Like, I didn't know anything about a dog mom. The whole idea of a dog mom or a dog grandma, that's a real thing. That just blew my mind. I was like, dog grandma? Are you kidding me? And then, later on I find out that people are calling their grandparents or their parents, if they have kids, they have these weird pet names for grandparents, and there's a million of them. I'm like, my God. There are some strange things out there, but you know what? You discover these things as you go along, right? So, what I'll say to newbies and people who have been doing this, maybe you've been doing this for a year, but you're not finding a lot of traction. Well, there's two things that you're probably not doing. Number one, you're probably not being consistent, right? If you just only upload, like if you start off, you upload 300 items and then you just sit there and wait. That's not consistent, right? This one person I was talking to, who I just alluded to, he said that he was doing something else and he came back to print on demand. He said, I've been uploading 5 new ideas a day, and that is a good start. Actually, that's a good continuation too. I don't think that most people could do more than 5 ideas a day. You'll quickly run out of steam if you try to do more than that. And if you try to do more than that, you're probably going to end up with a whole bunch of crap that's not really worth it. Come up with 5 good ideas a day, list them, and you will see results if you're consistent. But you got to try a lot of different ideas. So go wide, not deep. If you have any difficulty understanding what I'm saying, put a comment on the Facebook page and ask me to explain more. I'd love to go into more detail about this. I don't want this episode to end up being quite as long as the last one was, and we're already at 22 minutes. So, I'll just end here by talking about where I see things going for the rest of the year, and that is that I think this is going to be a fairly normal year with maybe a little bit less of a Christmas than we had the last 2 years. Once people actually get back to work, I think you'll start to see the economy recover a bit. I think the summer will be slow. That's my guess. After Father's Day and Mother's Day is over, I think the summer will be a little bit slower. I could be wrong. I was completely wrong about Mother's Day and Father's Day. It ended up being insane. But, summer tends to be fairly slow. Now, you can kind of change that by getting some designs out that focus on summer activities. So I've mentioned this. This is probably the 3rd year in a row I've talked about it. But yeah, get those summerish designs out there and get some water bottles and get some unique items that people might use in the summer. Think barbecue aprons. I think even barbecue, I don't know, they have barbecue stuff that you can print on demand. Gearbubble does not offer that stuff, but Printful and a few other companies probably would. So that's where you should be heading after Father's Day. But don't write off Father's Day. If you haven't gotten at least 50 new listings for Father's Day that are all different, okay, don't just launch the same idea 50 different times, okay, get 50 good Father's Day ideas out there. Try to get some customizable ones out there. Do some research. There is still lots and lots of time to really smash this Father's Day. I have been balls to the wall and almost running out of money trying to fill orders. It's bananas. I'm waiting for a huge payout from Amazon, and then I'll be back in the game, baby. But yeah, it's been a pretty good year so far. So hopefully that's inspiring to any of you out there that are hoping for good results. You've hit this at the right time. So Get out there, get working. We'll see you next week. Cheers.